Here is a viewer requested review. I do them sometimes. Usually not the comic requested, but something a bit similar to what was requested. This is Daredevil 118, and the viewer wanted me to review Daredevil 140, and I didn't have that, so I said, how about this? And it turns out this was that person's first Daredevil issue. So in a way, I improved their request. They wanted a random issue of Daredevil, and I fixed it, so instead, I am doing an issue that is very important to them. It is also very important to me, because for 14 years, I have been in awe of the title of this story. This episode is called Circus spelled sideways is deaf. An amazingly funny bad title. Now, I have tried spelling circus sideways in many different ways. Every conceivable way it could be spelled sideways, including spelling circus as the word sideways. And not a one of them even closely resembles the word deaf. This is a pretty bad comic though. I am not a fan of a lot of Daredevils, and this one lands smack dab in between parts of Daredevil that I think have some interesting ideas. Maybe I should clarify my stance on Daredevil before I get into this. I didn't really like Daredevil. I have read all 380 issues of his original series, and actually, I think all, however many, of his second volume. Daredevil, I really like the first 8 or 9 issues, the Silver Age ones. Great art by Woody the Woodpecker in most of those. And the first issue has Billy Everyteen. After that, the book is printed excrement for ages. Fucking Mike Murdoch, the fake twin brother, and irrelevant stories with Ka-Zar in the sewage land. Shit. Shit. The tail end of Stanley Lee's writing on Daredevil, the story where Daredevil's secret identity is found out by future Captain America bad guy Mac and Cheese Smith. I really like that, but it could be as a result of stomaching the 40 or 50 issues before it first. We are jumping about 50 issues again to get to the next interesting bit, which is Steve Gerber. He had some unique ideas. And Moon Garden. Then after this issue we're looking at, we have the stuff with Hydra, and that feels a bit more thought out than a lot of what came before. Eventually we get to Hank Miller, and that is good. But I also want to acknowledge Slurms Mackenzie, who co-wrote the first year of Hank Miller, and who wrote issues before Hank Miller. He usually gets the shaft when it comes to talking about comics, because he often came before the main event. The same thing happened on Captain America. Born Again is one of the best comics ever written, and Nonsense had moments like Thyroid Mary. I don't even want to try and talk about garbage like this. I am one of the few who would defend Shadowplay. It's not my favourite Joy Division song, but I find this Daredevil era preferable to Michael Bryan Benson or Kevin Smith's Daredevil comics. This one falls in the middle of Steve Gerbo and Mrs. Tony Isabella's runs. It is between Moongarden and the new Hydra. And this is actually a bit relevant to that Hydra story, despite it not being written by the same writer. This is written by Gary Conman. But it does introduce and set up a villain who is then in the Hydra stuff. And we will come to him, but we also have to contend with his accomplices in this issue, who are the Circus of Crime, or as I like to call them, the Circus of Crime, because that is what they are called. Any silly name I would give them would involve the word shit anyway. I hate them. The Circus of Crime. They are among my least favourite Marvel Universe villains. I hate whenever they show up. And they show up in so many different titles. Our new villain is Darkwing. And even though he is making his debut here, and he is on the cover, he doesn't do much at all in this issue, which was a surprise to me when I went back to review this. Darkwing is an incredibly minor Marvel villain, but he has appearances in just the right mix of books where he matters to me. I will explain him now. Darkwing is a mobster with this pretty mediocre armour that allows him some gliding ability. Also, he has bats. He becomes part of the new Hydra. Mrs. Tony Isabella, she revamps the Hydra organisation with different cells and groups, and Darkwing is in one. I remember this has been a big double splash page. The circle with the divisions. Very disappointed to find it was only a panel on one page. This version of Hydra didn't stick anyway. The story didn't have an ending, and all the work was for nothing. Darkwing didn't appear again until the 90s, when he became one of Red Skull Man's operatives in Marky Mark G's Captain America. Marky Mark did some tremendous exploration of bad guys in Captain America, but I don't think Darkwing was one. Darkwing only received limited character work in the 20 or so issues of Captain America he was around for. And it's a shame because it wouldn't have hurt to bring some actual characteristics to Darkwing, besides him being a bad guy. Thunderballs, of course, he's in the background of a few Kurt Busey issues. He doesn't do anything. He's just a bit of art porn in the background of gatherings of bad guys. His last major use was in New Warriors Volume 2, the often overlooked second series that didn't last long. He was one of the group's main antagonists, as he was now leading the local mafia. Which brings us on to the other thing about him. He is the son of the Spider-Man villain, Saliva Man. I think they called him Saliva Man because he is old and therefore must be drooling a lot. Saliva Man. So that is Darkwing. That is far more Darkwing than you actually see in this issue. The main focus is on Daredevil fighting the Circus of Crime. And I can think of a lot better ways to spend your time. Also on Darkwing, that is absolutely a character I would have in my imaginary Captain America run. I have told one of my viewers my idea for an issue where Captain America fights him, but I didn't share fanfiction in my videos because I hold fanfiction in incredibly low regard. I actually respect the Circus of Crime more than I respect fanfiction. And that seems epically unfair because I do know there is great fanfiction out there, and most fanfiction comes from a place of love and respect. And in this day and age, fanfiction is better than what Marvel are publishing, but the obstacle that I can never overcome with fanfiction is Professor Snape bumming Harry Potter. Stuff like that defines fanfiction for me. The erotica or the self-inserts, my immortal, stuff like that. That is fanfiction in my mind, more so than a brilliant fan effort to write a classic Daredevil story. So, the Circus of Crime, my problem with them is that they are not credible in any way, and most of them have zero personality. There are two members of the Circus of Crime I can accept. The sexy woman is a given. Princess Pythagoras, I like her, obviously. I didn't count Darkwing as part of their squad. He's only working with them in this. Same guns for Taskman. The ones who aren't with them for longer than an issue, I didn't count towards my overall opinion of the Circus of Crime. The other one I can tolerate isn't even with them here. It would be the Clown. I liked some of the character stuff done with him in issues of Ghost Driver written by Roy Sternman and then Jim Tomatoes. And then many years later, Joe Kelly, he liked to spotlight the Clown as a solo bad guy, an offbeat assassin. Princess Pythagoras is also the mother to one of the young masters, the young egg cushioner. I wish I could review that series, but it is out of my price range now. Great new characters, and the main one looks like me and bangs the new Amanda the Enchanter, which is a very me thing to do. Thank fuck I have found enough tangents to go on here, because fuck all is happening in this issue. The Circus of Crime are performing at a packed Shea Stadium, and you would think if they could get a booking there and sell out, they would have no need for the crime. How can a group ostensibly calling themselves the Circus of Crime, a group who are known and previously sent to jail for their crimes, how can they get a booking at Shea Stadium? I guess it is an accurate depiction of venues and how they will happily look the other way when they can book registered sex offenders to headline a weekend at the Stand Comedy Club. I think I hate this issue. I didn't like to be negative all the time. I know that it is more entertaining, but I think there is more worth in finding positives in things. However, this is bad. I couldn't find anything to go, oh, that's sort of alright. I didn't think just shitting on things is intelligent or even much of a discussion, but with this, I can't do anything else. I also think cynicism and cynically hating everything is something else I consider stupid. It is not maturity to brush everything off as bad or to only focus on the worst parts of something so you can continue an overall negative outlook and attitude. Negativity isn't a good thing. It is bad. It brings you down. It brings other people down. It makes other people be negative. This issue is unfortunate in that there isn't anything besides negativity I can throw at it. Maybe you should get a second opinion. It is a bad issue, and if it was my first Daredevil issue, I probably would have never wanted another Daredevil comic. On the bright side, the title of this issue is stupendous. So I'll tell you what, 7 thumbs spelled sideways is up.